What's up guys, this is Sean and welcome to another episode of the Eheng podcast, and today we will read a question from Mr. B. Let's go. Dear Sean, now at the end of February 2020, I've booked a semi-D unit at Grandeza Eco Sanctuary. I was blown away and captivated by its design and landscape treatments. I've placed a 1,000 deposit for that unit and subsequently applied for a bank loan. By end of March, my bank loan was approved by two banks. Both of the banks has been very aggressive and has been counter offering me good rates since, in accordance to them, home loan application has fallen drastically during the MCO and coronavirus phenomenon. I have not signed the SPA, but EcoWorld requested me to get the loan approval first. Since MCO is extended over and over again, I am using this excuse not to sign the SPA and also the bank loan facilities. Number one, my actual reasons for not signing the SPA and bank loans are, I'm hoping that due to the current adverse economy condition, EcoWorld will come up with a better discount package or provide additional freebies on top of their current promo in order to induce me to sign on the dotted line, because my insight told me that EcoWorld has already marked up their price by quite a lot and subsequently offering us discounts and etc. and etc. B. The banks will come up with better financing rate structure to induce us to sign on the dotted lines. So your question is, A. I am paying around 1.85 million for the semi-D. Is the price I'm paying overpriced or is it a fair value? B. From your experience dealing with big developers at EcoWorld, in such circumstances and environments, should I wait and see if they will lower down their price further? C. Do you think that the banks will also reduce their financing rates in order to get more sales? D. Should I wait till MCO is totally lifted before signing the SPA and loan agreement? Because once the loan formality is done and the property is subsequently VP'd to me, I will not be able to renovate the house because of MCO. Still need to service the loan, and that will translate over 8,000 per month. Thanks a zillion. Mr. B. First of all, thank you very much, Mr. B, for the very full of context email. Yeah, you get what I mean. I think a lot of people are also in these current scenarios. Before we get to the answers, right, the question is, Mr. B got a unit, semi-D in Eco Sanctuary, which is Kota Komning area, and then he placed booking already, he get loan already, but then MCO came and extend again. So his question is, should he proceed with the sale now during MCO or to wait for a while, because in these kind of times, right, what will banks do and what will developers do? And that is the question. So my answer is this. Public listed developers, they will be very, very careful in terms of discounts. So it means, right, every time they do pricing, for example, there's a 5,000 acres land, which is almost the size of Kota Komning. Their first phase is usually the lowest and the cheapest, right? And when they go to phase 2 and phase 3 and phase 4, right, their main strategy is to not cannibalize their own product. Let's say I launch terrace house first, right? Then the next phase, if I want to remain the same price, I will be launching a smaller size terrace. Or if the market is good, I will actually launch from terrace, I will launch a semi-D. Then when I launch semi-D, then I launch bungalow, or I launch townhouse and I launch things and I launch that. Even if it's the same size, right? Maybe let's say first phase 2470 terrace houses, right? Phase 2 2470 terrace houses, but they want to charge like 10% extra. So what they will do is they will provide difference in specs. For example, they will add in a sliding door and a kitchen cabinet, or they will add in full tiles in some of the places, for example toilet, for example kitchen, right, just to differentiate the products, because it wouldn't make sense ever again if their later phase of developments, right, actually cannibalize their first phase investors, and that is a big no-no for everyone to do. So that being said, I think the developers, right, will most likely provide better financing schemes, which means like lower booking fee and faster loan approvals and things like that only, because they will never ever cannibalize their first phase buyers. Those investors who bought in the first place, right, those are the loyalties that you can never mess with if you're a developer. So the answer to that question is yes, they will repackage the price. Even they give more discounts, right, they will never compromise their bottom line, which means is that they will actually jack up the price a little bit higher. They will justify to the bank why it's actually higher, better furnishing or better appreciation or things like that, right? Then they will actually discount further. They will give you extra discount, right? It's actually priced in before before already. So that's how the pricing is actually done as well. So if this MCO extends, right, I don't think EcoWorld will actually eventually sell at a loss. Let's just play what if lah. What if they really sell at a loss, right? The whole initial buyers and investors, right, will go after developer itself because you are spoiling the market. How can you do such a thing? So it's almost impossible to do so unless they bankrupt lah. So I doubt that very much. And banks, whether will they provide better financial schemes or not, it's important that you choose the flexi rates, right? If you pick flexi rates which actually responds to the market rates, right, then I think it's fine only, because a lot of media has already covered that maybe we will minus another 50 points, another 75 basis points of our interest rates, and that is actually very promising, and that's actually good news if you are buying for own stay. Especially the amount of interest that you save, right, is actually a lot, and it's a good thing actually. Third of all, is that price a fair price or overpriced? I think that it's up to your research. So my suggestion would be to actually research further, right? For example, if you look into the same location, you look into the sub sales of Bukit Rimau, so there are also some bungalow lots, right, in the gated and guarded one. There are some semi-Ds as well. So if you look into Dahlia, Tropicana Dahlia, which is I think the direct competitor of yours, or you want to go into 25/7. So what is their price like? So if you, let's say semi-D is around 40 by 80, then gated and guarded clubhouse facilities, all similar, all of them have it. If you evaluate out, right, and this will help you get the median price of that area. It means that, let's say per square feet there, it's around, I don't know, for example, X amount. So if both projects or all projects semi-D is actually priced at that level, then you are actually buying at a fair market price. And if you really like it as your home, right, then I think it's a good indicator on whether are you buying at a fair price or not. Last of all, whether should you actually delay the signing upon MCO lifting. I think as a home, I would suggest yes, right, unless you can try, like, okay, you ask the salesperson, right, okay, let's say I were to sign out. If I were to sign now, I will not have any access to my property because I cannot renovate anyway, right? Is there a leeway or some extra, that's something for me to sign? If not, I will not, because it doesn't make sense for me. I buy already, then I cannot renovate the house until I move in. So I think it will take another 2 more months, which is around another 16,000 on your side, right? So maybe you can use that technique to nego a little bit more. Let's say maybe a freebie or a kitchen cabinet or whatsoever lah. So maybe you can try that. And this is what we meant by buyer's market. It's up to the buyer to say whether to sign or not, because there's no apparent competitor for the exact same unit, right? So in conclusion, right, I think for all the audience as well, I think in extreme times like this, even in such a time, right, developers will not compromise their brand, which means that even if my first phase, second phase has been sold out, right, third phase I sold halfway and stuck, it will not make sense for me to sell lower or to even sell at loss just to cover my own accounts. Right? It wouldn't make sense, because never again buyers will actually follow this developer ever again, because what's the point of buying the first phase anymore? So that will actually destroy the whole belief of buying first phase will make money ever again. It's almost impossible for developers to do that. What they will do instead is to jack up a price a little bit more, right, and then they put it out as discounts. So that discount can come in the form of, now got 36 months free installment. They will package it in like a very low booking fee, 300 booking fee. They will actually free kitchen cabinet, free this, free that. So just to make the deal a little bit more exciting for buyers to actually put it in. So easy ownership is one of the key issue right now. So, and always has been the key focus for developers for the past 2 to 3 years. And for Mr. B's case, our advice, right, I know you somewhat have the mind for this project already. Why don't you verify your choice further? That's what people do. I will look into Dahlia, I will look into 25/7, I will look into Bukit Rimau. So in comparison, so it helps you to make an informed decision on the buying and to make the calculated risk. So you know very much that you are buying something that you like at a fair price of the market. So I think that's about it for this email. Thank you very much again, Mr. B. Congratulations on your new home. Very close to my house. So I think maybe in the future we will meet. And for all other audience who have any further questions about real estate, do email me at TANIHERNG TANIHERNG@gmail.com, and you guys can just follow me at IHERNG at Instagram. And that's all for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys on the next one. Ciao.